Join me as I dive into the past and challenge myself to see if medieval life was actually better than ours today. When we think of medieval life, we often imagine a world of grandeur and simplicity, far removed from the complexities of modern life. But was it really better? Did people live more fulfilling lives, or were they just as miserable as we are today? These are the questions we'll explore as we take a closer look at what life was like back then. One of the biggest misconceptions about medieval life is that people were dirty and didn't care about hygiene. While it's true that they didn't have the same luxuries we do today, like indoor plumbing and showers, they actually took cleanliness quite seriously. In fact, people in medieval times bathed regularly, and some even used perfumes to mask body odor. Another misconception is that medieval society was strictly hierarchical, with kings and nobles ruling over peasants. But the truth is, social mobility was possible, and people could rise through the ranks with hard work and determination. Medieval healthcare also gets a bad rap, but it's not entirely deserved. Sure, they didn't have modern medicine, but they had their own ways of dealing with illnesses. Herbal remedies, prayer, and even surgery were all used to treat ailments. And when it came to social structure, medieval society was actually quite community-driven. People lived in close-knit villages, where everyone knew each other's names and looked out for one another. But what about the not-so-glamorous aspects of medieval life? Agricultural practices were backbreaking and labor-intensive, with most people working from dawn till dusk, just to grow enough food to survive. And let's not forget about the leisure activities, or lack thereof. Most people didn't have the luxury of free time, and entertainment was largely limited to festivals and community gatherings. One surprising insight that challenges our perspective on medieval life is that people actually lived longer than we think. On average, a medieval person lived around 35 to 40 years. But that number is skewed by high infant mortality rates. If you made it past childhood, you could easily live into your 50s or even 60s. And despite the hardships, people found joy in the simple things, like music, storytelling, and good company. As we weigh the pros and cons of medieval life, it's clear that it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. But at the same time, there were certain aspects that we could learn from today. A sense of community, a connection to the land, and an appreciation for the simple things. These are all things we can take away from medieval life. So, was medieval life actually better than ours? I encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you're interested in more historical comparisons, be sure to check out my next video, where we'll explore whether ancient civilizations had it better than us.